Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Bullington and this is the Campfire. Today we start our 5A Division II deep dive and we begin with 5A Division II. After realignment, this district consists of Argyle, Creekview, Denton High, Emerson, Independence, Memorial, and Lake Dallas. After winning a state title in both 3A and 4A, this will be Argyle's first venture into Class 5A. It should be interesting to see how they do here, but let's start the show by analyzing all of these teams in our film session. Todd Rogers' Argyle Eagles move up to 5A and bring with them quite an experienced defense, especially on the line. Graduation may have seen some talented skill position players move on, but one thing we know about Argyle is that they always have athletes waiting in the wings. Expect the Eagles to be the favorite for that district crown. Denton High went 1-9 last year, but don't expect the same this year. The Broncos bring back dynamic running back Coco Brown and wide receiver Tristan Strange, as they should be a solid contender for a playoff spot. The Frisco ISD team should compete well too. Independence only picked up 3 wins last year, and with the graduation of Reggie Bush, many might think more of the same. But think again. The Knights have plenty of offensive weapons coming back, and in a less talented district, they could make some moves. Memorial went 4-6 and only had 2 district wins last year, but they also could benefit from a not-so-challenging district. As for Emerson, head coach Kendall Miller has his Mavericks in a district for the first time ever. So they could have some growing pains. Much like Memorial, Lake Dallas went 4-6, but they are bringing back wide receiver Nicky Gray as he hopes to lead the Falcons to the postseason. Creekview was a playoff team last year as they finished 5-2 in district play. They graduated some of their leaders, but the Mustangs should not be ignored when you discuss the postseason. This will be the first year of district play for the newest Frisco ISD school, Emerson. We wish good luck to one of our favorite coaches, Kendall Miller, as he helps start a new culture with the Mavericks. All right, let's dig even deeper into 5A Division II as we bring in our Inside High School Sports Insider, Matt Diggs, along with producer Ward Fasold and our district breakdown.
All right, folks, it's district breakdown time. We are now into Division II of 5A, and we're starting at 5A Division II, where we have a bunch of teams that aren't used to playing each other in a district together, including Argyle moving up from 4A. Diggsy, what do you think about this? What do you think about this district?
This is a fascinating district at the end of the day. And, we talked about this in 5A Division I when we talked about 3 versus 4. I really think it's important in these 2 districts, what we're going to talk about next week and this week, the 1 and 2 spots are really important because I think that the 1 and 2 spots are pretty much guaranteed victories in the playoffs. And then 3 and 4, they're going to struggle in the playoffs in both districts. So really, you got to get number 1 or number 2 in this district. And I think even though they were in 4A coming up to 5A, I know their motto over there is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Argyle aims to be that, and I think Argyle has a very fortunate draw coming into 5A, a soft landing, if you will, in this district, because I think that they are probably prohibitive favorites in this district.
All right, so if you have Argyle as the number 1 team, how do you see the rest of these 6 teams filling out the rest of the district, because we got to have somebody in a coveted 2 spot that you were talking about?
Very coveted 2 spot, and I think that 2 spot's going to have a lot of parity. I think if we look at the district at the end of the year, I think I could make reasonable arguments if I put on my hat for each team of 5 of the last 6 teams having a shot for the 2 spot. I think it's a very fluid ranking system. I'm going to put number 2, I'm going to put Frisco Independence. They got a new coach, and that worries me a little bit, but I think of all of these teams, Frisco Independence a couple years ago have the best pedigree. I know Nick Stokes, the new coach for Frisco Independence, has learned from Coach Story, so I think they have the best up-end potential. Frisco Memorial 3, Denton is my sleeper team. I've got them number 4. Lake Dallas, I've got number 5. Frisco Emerson 6 and Creekview 7. But again, I think 2 to 6 all could be competitive for that 2 spot.
We will talk to you next week, sir.
We'll see you next week, Ward.
I know I want to hear more from Diggsy and Wiz, and you're in luck. We will have the entire conversation on this district on our social media platforms this Wednesday. And if you're a little impatient, go over to our podcast on iTunes or Spotify to listen to their whole conversation on 3-5A Division 2. Now, let's take a look at some of the athletes you should keep an eye on in this district and our players on the rise. One of the best running backs no one talked about last year was Denton's Coco Brown. As a junior, he ran for 1,848 yards and 12 touchdowns for a one-win Bronco team. Denton should pull off more wins this year, and it will be because of Coco's presence in the backfield. Brown is a shifty back who hits the hole hard and leaves his defenders in the dust. Coco has a lot of Division I interest, and if he has another big year, even more offers will come. Frisco Memorial has a receiver that will present a problem in Farron Cotton. He caught 35 balls for 715 yards and 9 touchdowns last year, as Farron was the second option in the Warriors' passing game. Now he's the number 1 target, as Cotton can play in the slot as well as on the outside and still make plays. On the defensive side of the ball, Argyle has some hosses in the trenches led by defensive end Riley Van Poppel. The son of Major League pitcher Todd Van Poppel, Riley definitely has his dad's height at 6'4", but he also brings 270 lbs to the table. Last year, Van Poppel had 7 sacks to go with 40 tackles and 14 tackles for loss. First team All-District last year, and expect more of the same this year. Joining Van Poppel on the Argyle D-line is defensive tackle Michael Madre. 3 sacks for Madre last year to go along with his 50 tackles and 6 tackles for loss. He was his district's Defensive Player of the Year last year and has offers from UT San Antonio and Colorado. We talked earlier about how the Argyle Eagles have moved up to 5A and should be a favorite in this district. Well, our Ward Fasold caught up with the Eagles head coach Todd Rogers to talk about his team and the challenges he might face in his new classification in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day, 3-5A Division 2. I'm joined with Argyle head coach Todd Rogers. Coach, you got a nice, sweet 3A trophy. You got a 4A trophy, but now you've moved up to 5A Division 2. Your first 4A in that classification. Talk to me about what you feel this move. Are you guys prepared? I'm sure you obviously have the numbers, but are you prepared for this 5A jaunt?
Well, our superintendent gave us the opportunities to add staff last year. We've had reasonable success at all the other levels. So I might disagree with you about the numbers. We're gonna move in there with very low numbers, and so we'll be facing that challenge like the other small 5A schools in the area. But I think we have a good plan to navigate those waters as we move into there. We've got a pretty tough non-district schedule. I've always alluded to the fact is that it takes heat to make steel. So we're going to put ourselves facing some of the top 5A programs in the state, or certainly in the DFW area, prepare ourselves for a tough district run.
And you're going into looking over your roster from last year. You got a lot of graduation there, especially with some of the guys from the all-district teams.
Right. Well, we have a solid junior class right now that will be our seniors next year. We've been leaning on them heavily for their leadership and supervision of the younger kids and the guidance that we're getting from them, and we're very pleased with that. The observation is we're solid from top to bottom. I don't know what the waters of 5A look like, so I can't predict any long-term outcome.
This will be a pretty cool year, and I appreciate you spending time with us today.
Well, thanks for contacting me. We appreciate it.
As I said earlier, you can listen to the entire interview if you hop over to our podcast platforms on iTunes and Spotify on Inside High School Sports DFW, or we will post the entire interview on our social media this Friday. That's going to do it for this week's show. Join us next week when we move to 4-5A Division 2, where Colleyville Heritage and their longtime rival Grapevine have found themselves in the same district again. You can keep up with everything on the high school football scene on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram account. Until next time, I'm Ashley Bullington, and thank you so much for watching the Campfire.